I'm live. Sorry, I'm late. No, you didn't miss it. I'm just late. Oh, wow. I guess I am late. Wow. That's a lot later than I thought. Well, we're back. So, today we got this, which I've done one live on it before. It's a Briggs 5-horse. It was left out in the rain and weather. Everything was locked up, all the valves. I was just able to get the tappet out when the tappet's out last night. So I'm going to home the cylinder, do that kind of stuff. I do have a cylinder home if I can get to it. Drill some oil. Okay. I'll start with this. 2 people, 3 likes. Hello. Check comments here. Cylinder home. Hi. Sorry, I'm late. It's a lot later than I had thought. Okay. Oh, you're good. I just now started the live. I was kind of late. Trying to get the camera set up here. Trying to get out of the stand. Sorry. Oh, 15. So you can see. Well, I guess you can't see. I'll grab the light over in here. There's some markings in there. Sorry for the bad camera, but you can kind of see all the, mainly a lot of aluminum oxide and I forget what you call it. Corrosion, I guess, is what aluminum gets. Oxidization. So I'll first just wipe out all the junk down in there, all the dust and grime. A little bit of crap in there, which you want to have a clean cylinder to start with, so you're not spreading around a bunch of dirt, because that'll just make the cylinder worse. Okay, I think that's pretty well clean. I got to get some oil here, because you always have to have oil when you hone a cylinder. Otherwise, if you don't, then you'll ruin the cylinder. This is just some tiny bit of oil that our neighbor left on one of the mowers I brought over, so I'm going to use it. So fill that bottle up. Okay. Wow, 4 lakhs already. That's pretty good. Okay. So I'll get the hone in the drill. I think the cylinder will clean up pretty good. Just gonna wipe the honing stones off because they kind of sit in a drawer and a bunch of dirt can get on them, so I don't want dirt getting in the cylinder wall. Make sure, well, I guess I should go ahead and oil this up. You want a good amount in there, because in this case, the more the better. Kind of like that. Grip around in there. That oil can is all oily and gets my hands all gunky. And I'll put a little bit on the honing stones. Because they soak up some oil, so you want to have plenty. I don't know if I have it set to the correct size or not, but we're going to find out here in just a second after I get oil on it. And I think I'm going to loosen that up at first. Kind of try and get it down in there. There, we'll start with that and see what that gets us. You can see the oil is now real gray from the material, so that means we did something. Hopefully it's all something good. Yeah, it's starting to clean up a little. Do that like another time. Wipe the stones off. Close the door so that way there wasn't so much background noise. I'm not worried about that. The markings on the cylinder, I'm just trying to clean it up really, because that's just kind of staining. That won't really affect it much. Only honed a couple of cylinders, but it's not a hard job. Just as long as you don't take off too much material, then you're pretty much fine. Hey people, hello. Just getting a little oil on the stones. Making a bit of a mess today. Oh well, I make a mess every day, so that's not a big problem. Kind of get it started, and I think I'll give it a little more tension outwards. There, we'll try that once more and see what that gets us. It's kind of like a metal paste in there now. And you want to get this as clean as you can afterwards, which I'm not going to thoroughly clean it today because I'm not really close to reassembling. So I'm just going to get the worst of this crap out of here. And that looks good. Feels good. I don't feel any marks with my fingernail. And I think before I remove too much material, I think we're going to call that good. Because I don't want to remove too much. It's got the cross hatching. I think that's how you say it. Cross hatch. And that was kind of my main goal. As long as you got good rings, the other markings won't really hurt much. And it's just staining, like I said, so it's nothing too bad we gotta worry about. Because it was sitting outside and had water all in it. So, you know. Okay, set that oil thing off to the side so we're not making a mess on the table. Along with the hone. And I guess I'll get this gasket material off of the mating surface. Gotta find a razor blade real quick. If I can, I haven't been able to find any recently. Or they went. It used to be right in this drawer with all the sockets, but then they just disappeared, and I don't know where they disappeared to. Okay, finally found one. Not in the usual spot, but hey, at least I found it. Let's see, I need some out of this bottom drawer. Chains, I gotta move a bunch of stuff. I don't keep nothing clean around here. Used up pretty much. Get that. Hold on, I'll be there in just a quick second. 5 people, hello. I'm gonna switch this up to a new one of these pads. You can see that's all worn out. Well, I might try that one. It's like a Scotch-Brite pad you can put on your drill. Clean off gasket material. I'll set that there. I'll clean it up later. Okay. This table's kind of small, so I got to keep my mess to a minimum. Scoot you over this way. Lower you down. Hook your lens wipe. Hold on. Wiping the camera off. Oh, that just made it worse. There we go. That's not too bad. Hi. Trying to get this razor blade in this tool without losing the finger. This engine doesn't need a lot to get going, mainly just a gasket kit, a valve, which is all pretty cheap. The gasket kit off Amazon is like $8 or $10. But this is our neighbor, so I'm not sure if he wants to do that or not, so I'll ask him about that. But hey, I'll have this cleaned up and ready for if he does want to put money in it. Why ain't that sliding across there? It was there at first, so it should now. There we go. Just kind of hooking up. It's a brand new razor blade, so it should be sharp. Gotta be careful doing this because you can damage your surface. That's why you just kind of want to gently run it over it, but you don't want to push too hard. Wipe that junk off. Use my hand. I don't want to lose a finger tonight. I apologize for being late. Looks pretty good, and then I'll run over it with that Scotch-Brite pad on the drill. Hold on here, I'm just looking at comments. Sorry about that. Yeah, that thing shines it up real good. Gets all that residue of the gasket off. If you hold it one spot too long, it can start moving aluminum. That's why I got to kind of keep it moving around. Guess that's just the color of the aluminum. Oh, didn't know he was out here. It scared me. Thought I was getting invaded by aliens.
You are.
Yeah, it's pretty shiny. That's what you want. You want a clean surface for your gasket to seal on. Gotta grab something. Oh no! Knocked over a bunch of bolts. Get a little bit of cleaner and get some of that junk off of there. Yeah, that's pretty clean. I mean, you see all the crap that came off of there. Wipe that off again. So we'll have to go back and clean the valve seats up and lap the valves, but that's not going to be until I get new valves, if that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I mean, that came out pretty clean. So that's good, because I want it clean. I'm not going to mess with the valve seats today. See, that valve seat, that's the valve seat. I don't know why I forgot what that was called. Okay, now flip it like that. Oh, yeah. If I move that horn out of the way. Well, come on now. Work with me here. There we go. We can get, thankfully, 95% of the gasket for the sump stayed on the covers, but there's a little bit that's stuck on here, which I'm going to go ahead and get that off. And then shine it, and then go over with that Scotch-Brite thing and get it nice and clean. As long as you have a good, sharp razor blade, you don't run too much of a risk of damaging your surface unless you're really gouging it in there. You just need to gently glide over it and get this clean, you know. if you're not going to take the time to thoroughly clean this, if you're not going to take the time to do any job thoroughly, regardless if it's sweeping your floor or whatever, don't do it. Just either do it and do a good job or don't do it. Take pride in your work and care how you do it. Kind of hard getting the gasket off around these little pins here, alignment pins. Well, that one, sometimes they're stuck in there and sometimes they're not. I think those probably are. Trying to do this in a weird spot. I'm going to switch back to this handle thing. Get in there. Try not to lose the finger either. I've already had a broken ankle, so I don't want to lose a finger. There we go. Set that over there. And it's hard to get this thing to balance. Yeah. Well, I might try and do it like that. Or something like that. Then I can't get any good pressure on it to do anything good. Oh, well, that's why I was doing something weird, because that fall off. Yeah. I'm going to try that again with the razor blade. Because that's not working too good. This is the longest and hardest part of doing this, is getting everything clean and how it needs to be. Let's see, where'd the razor blade go? Yeah. There we go. Get that stuff off of there. That stuff really gets stuck on there after a while. Okay, finally got the majority of that off, and then I'll run over it real quick with this just to clean it up more. Okay. Well, I think that's that cleaned up. Well, just the gasket, not inside the engine, but I'm not going to do that until it's assembly time, because that's going to be a little while and it'll just get full of garage dust again. So I'm not going to do that right now. Hold on, I'm just going to check. Oh, my tablet's at 5% again. Hold on, I gotta go grab a cord. My tablet's almost dead again. I don't never charge nothing around here. that cord now. Let's see. Make sure I ain't pretty much dead. 3%. Not good. I gotta charge my tablet before I come out here next time. I plugged it in, but then I used it and forgot to plug it back in. There we go. Kind of lower it down a little. There we go. I think the next piece I want to work on. Well, I gotta go around the phone cord now. There we go. I think I'll clean up the sump cover next. Which you can see it's fairly dirty. Now where's the blade? Where's the blade go? Oh, right there. This thing needs a lot of cleaning. Coming off pretty easily, that's good. Seems kind of hard to keep still while you're scraping. There we go, finally got down to the aluminum. This part's always my least favorite. Getting all this crap off of here. My least favorite, I don't know. It seems like I said my favorite, but it's not. I don't remember what I said. Try not to lob off a finger. I don't think I have that blade out enough. It's not biting in there. Doesn't seem like this is a very good blade. It's not doing as good as some of the others I've used. Well, now that's not even as good as it was doing. What's going on? Piece of junk. I guess this razor blade is already almost dull, because that ain't cutting no more. It's just kind of skimming over it. There we go, finally getting somewhere. It's almost impossible to remove no aluminum. You're going to scratch it a little bit, but I always use RTV on there, so that kind of fills in those little tiny scratches. I'm not saying you need to do it on purpose, but sometimes it's unavoidable. That spot there is being real stubborn. I guess I'll just have to do that with the Scotch-Brite on the drill. wow, this gasket is tough. It's real old, so it's probably so stuck on there. This engine's about 20 years old, I think. This has never been opened up, I'm sure. There was too much sludge in there for it to ever have been cleaned out, unless I just ran the same oil in it all that time. Get that rag out of the way. Around those corners is always real hard too. This thing kind of makes your hand tired. Yeah, I think I'll go over it with the drill and see what that'll do with that Scotch-Brite. And that, you gotta really push on it, that's for sure. Also not wanting to remove too much aluminum in the process, which is, like I said, impossible to a degree. I gotta get this all cleaned off. You can see it's really grimy and gunky. Too bad I don't have a parts washer or a ultrasonic cleaner. Just even a small ultrasonic cleaner would make a world of difference with this kind of stuff. I don't know how much a small one costs. I doubt it's very cheap. And I'm not gonna, no point in spending several hundred on it when I can just get over myself and clean it up with a brush. Alright. No people watching. That's sad. Oh well. Stop going off to the side like that and walking off of there. I'm gonna get a different pad because that one ain't working as good as it should. See, it's pretty used a lot, so I'm gonna try a new one. Well, thanks a lot. Trying to get something done here that falls off. I'm gonna run over that again with the razor blade. See how much more will come off. There we go. That's a bit better. Kind of a weird position to do this in. I'm try standing up. I'm kind of used to doing this on bigger engines, so I don't usually have to hold everything so much. Wish there was a you can get a clamp and clamp that down so it don't move around everywhere. That's kind of annoying. I forgot that it won't clamp onto the table. You should make this table to where you can clamp on it, because it's just a little thin edge, which I don't like that, but whatever. And the clamp is just gonna slide off. I'll try it again and see what happens. Kind of like that. No, it just slides off the table. Oh well. Oh no. I don't want that thing to drag. Wow, I didn't realize how much a new one of these pads makes a difference. in with the scraper. I would like to get some carbide tip gasket scrapers because they're supposed to. They work a lot better than a razor blade and they don't remove aluminum. They're not terribly expensive either. I do enough of this that they would be helpful. They ain't wanting to come off of there. Well, I'm gonna make you. What do you like to do now? Hold on, I'm just gonna check comments. Okay. Well, get this last bit off of here. Try to anyway. It's always that last little bit that takes the longest. Don't you fall off of there. I don't need to cut. Okay. I think that's gonna be clean enough. I don't see any left. There might be a couple tiny specks, but we aren't gonna worry about that. I'm not trying to eat off of it, but we do want it to be clean. Get some of this crap off my hands. I am going to polish the crankshaft because I've got some rust on it, but not today. Well, guess I'm going to get off of here for now because that's about all I can do tonight. Yeah, that's real clean now. I think that's all I can do tonight because I guess the next part would be getting some parts, which, I'm gonna talk to the neighbor about that later on next week sometime. See if he wants to put any money in this thing or not. Well, I guess I could clean the head, but I'm not going to. Somebody made this fancy head bolt. I don't know what they did with it, but they made that. Luckily, I have several of these bolts out in the shed with all the spare parts I have, so I'll steal one out of there. I think these bolts are all the same length. I'm gonna put them back in the holes, and I guess I'll clean the head while I'm here. I don't know if they're all the same length, but I don't want to get them all out and find out the hard way that they're different. Most of these engines I take apart are all the same, but the one I flop them in a pile is the one that'll be different. These are good little engines. They can take a beating and still go. I'll clean these bolts up before I get it together if I do, and run a tap through the holes. Clear out all the crap in there. I always put anti-seize on the head bolts just because I've had a couple shear off in the block. So I always do that, and that way it's ready for the next person. Yeah, you can see that there's some rust and aluminum in there. There's corrosion in there. The whole thing's aluminum. You can see there's some rust on the spark plug. I might even have this head gasket. I don't know. I know I have one that I accidentally ordered the wrong one of and couldn't return. But I don't know if that's this one. I'll pick that up later, which means I'll brush it in the driveway. Yeah, that's some pretty thick crap on there. Head gasket is a lot easier to clean off than the paper gaskets, like on the sump and whatnot. I don't know why. They're different materials and they don't stick quite as much and glue on there real hard. Oh, don't fall on the floor, you rag. Sandblasters work really good for cleaning this out, but a wire brush does just as good. And there's a pretty big price difference. Wire brush is a few dollars, and sandblaster, depending on what you get, is a few thousand. So I'll stick to a wire brush. Scrape off some of this stuff while I'm here. Definitely tell that this thing has been not taken care for of in the past little while. This thing's been sitting down at his place for years and years and years and years, as long as I can remember. I remember seeing it long, long ago. And what the main cause of all this is the person that had it before him put this fancy, can you see that? Kind of put this fancy muffler on it, and you can see it's, sticking straight up in the air, so that was just funneling rain and junk in there over the years. It was just pouring water everywhere, so that's what mainly destroyed this. Well, not destroyed, but got this engine to the shape it is. But luckily everything is going pretty smoothly for how bad it was at the very beginning. It was all locked up and in pretty rough shape. And now it's coming along. I mean, it takes some elbow grease to get some of these things going, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. I think it's worth to save anything older. Because, just the new stuff is just not the way it used to be, Everything is plastic and just not very durable. And now, everything is electronic and there's so many little, there's so many fancy controls and stuff on everything, That's the more features that something has is just going to one day be more problems that thing has. And I'd rather have less features than more problems. Because more problems equals more money you have to spend, and sometimes you gotta spend your money elsewhere. I'd rather spend money on something you need rather than some fancy new piece of crap. Everything is computerized, and there's on cars. There's a sensor in every corner, and every movement is censored, and just unnecessary. Let's see. There we go. Cleaning up pretty good. Get that dust off on the floor. Battery's dead. Now I'll check and see how clean that is. See if I need to do any more. I think I need a different kind of wire brush. I think I'll be done using the drill for that and get a little handheld wire brush, because they're small and can get down in those little crevices. That big wire brush can't really get down in there. You want it to be fairly clean. You don't have to be spotless, but good enough. Outside is pretty dirty too. Got a bunch of bug dust down in there from sitting so long, which ain't no good. But that's just dry, so it'll blow out. Sounds like it's raining out. Thought I heard a weird noise that sounded like rain. I'll be right back. I'm just grabbing something over here. I gotta unbury it. Oh, I gotta clean this toolbox off here in a couple of days because I would like to be able to do stuff up here, but I can't because everything's a mess. And I'll admit, it's 90% me that makes the messes, but yeah, it was just clean them up and keep moving on. What those go to? That goes over there. And there. That goes to my scrap pile. So just that. I don't know what those two bolts came from, but I'll set them over here. Oh, this is heavy. Wow. So, what I got is this, which is a big chunk of metal with sticky sandpaper glued onto it. It's a flat piece of metal. And that is what I use to resurface or make heads flat. The gasket surface on heads flat. Works pretty good. It takes a little while, but well, it won't work on this head because it's got this weird lip on it. Man, that's too bad. And you can see it's sticking up. I think it's sticking up past the... Yeah, it's going to touch on this side and sand that down, and this side won't be touching as much. So that's not going to work. Forgot about that on those heads. But what I can do is do that to the block. Let's see. Oh, that muffler. I can't do it with that on there. Or could I? No. That's too bad. I'm gonna resurface the block there, but I guess I can't do that. So I'll just clean this up without doing that, which is fine. It's probably not out. It's probably not warped that bad. As long as your engine don't overheat, the head don't usually warp that much. The spark plug threads are a bit cruddy. Alright, well, I think I'm going to get off of here. I don't want this to be a real long live. I wish there was a way to have the comments always on my screen, because I would have to click on the chat button or the comment button for me to see the chat, and I wish that there was a setting I could turn on to leave that on. I'm sure there is, but I just haven't discovered it. I'll have to look into that. Well, and now there's 5 people. Yeah, of course, right? A few minutes before I end the live streams, when everybody decides they want to start watching. I mean, that's really all I can do on this engine now. I'm glad I did get that much done, because it's been sitting in the garage now since early fall, and I haven't really done much with it. Just tore it all apart and checked everything. Really haven't. This is all I've done so far. Well, today, but I did some stuff yesterday. Anyway, you don't want to hear me ramble about that. So yeah, I mean, next will just be cleaning all the crap out of there, getting that nice and shiny. I wonder if I have a tap for the spark plug fridge. I'll have to look up what those are and see, because there's some, can't really see it, but they're not perfect. There's a bunch of junk in them. Doesn't look like this thing was overheated. Usually the head gets kind of discolored and stuff, so I don't think that's going to be warped. And I've not done that on heads before, and they were fine. Alright, well, if anybody has anything they want to say or ask, well, speak up, because I'm going to get off of here in just a couple of minutes. Is there anything else I can do? I mean, not really, other than just clean up the valve seats, which I probably won't show that, because that's just taking a wire brush and getting it in there. That's really about it. So, thank you. So, thank you all for watching, and catch you all again soon. Thank you. Like and subscribe if you have time, please.